Oh God, so our 4-9 extremely injured Texans team gets to go take on the full strength 9-4 Jaguars team. Yeah, if I told you that before the season started, how crazy would have that sounded? Like seriously. Anyways, yeah, this game can possibly get really ugly. Like, really, really ugly. Now, let's get into some of these matchups, starting with our run offense versus their run defense. The Jaguars don't really have that good of a run defense, and the Texans have a pretty decent rushing attack. I think they're ranked number 10 in the league. But, I mean, regardless, in past weeks, starting from that Ravens game, the Texans have just not been able to run the ball. It's been up and down, mostly down. And I have a feeling that has to do with the reshuffled offensive line. I mean, we got, what's his name, Jeff Allen starting at the left tackle position, and that's something you don't want to see, especially when you're going up against Calais Campbell and Yannick Ngakoue, Malik Jackson. And 10 sacks in the first matchup. I mean, I don't think this offensive line is gonna allow 10 sacks again. But God, the fact of Xavier Su'a-Filo being out there against these guys, Breno Giacomini, like that's concerning. I feel for TJ Yates. So I do feel like the Jaguars are going to be able to dominate the line of scrimmage on these guys. I don't think the offensive line can get enough push. I don't think they're going to be able to get a run game going. Pass blocking wise, I don't think they'll do all that well, but I also don't think they'll do as bad as they did week 1. I think TJ Yates is a better quarterback than Tom Savage, so he'll do a better job of finding open receivers. Now, let's talk about their secondary versus our receivers. Will Fuller can burn anyone. DeAndre Hopkins can beat anyone. I've said it all season long. And it holds the same. I mean, Hopkins has embarrassed better corners than Ramsey and Boye, or just as good as corners as Ramsey and Boye. Yeah, because Ramsey and Boye are pretty high up there. So I'll just say corners as good as them. And what I mean by that, I mean Jimmy Smith. He embarrassed him. He embarrassed Richard Sherman and the Legion of Boom. He embarrassed Pat Pete. So, yeah. Hopkins has been doing it even without Watson. So I expect more of the same here against the Jaguars. And Will Fuller kind of has been absent ever since Deshaun Watson left. And Will Fuller's a deep threat. I feel like he's not going to be as effective doing that. Even though Boye isn't the fastest guy in the world, I'm pretty sure Fuller can burn Boye every single play. But problem is, his offensive line isn't going to give TJ Yates enough time to get the ball to Will Fuller. So I'm pretty sure Will Fuller's going to be a non-factor. There's a real test for Braxton Miller. I'm pretty sure Braxton Miller's coming back. And as you guys know, I don't really like him, but I'm giving him his credit. He had a pretty good game against Baltimore, and he was having a pretty good game against the Titans before he got hurt. So pretty sure he returns against the Jaguars. And I'm not sure how he would perform against Colvin, who's one of the better nickel corners in the league. And yeah, I feel like it's just going to be a dogfight out there. Our receivers, especially DeAndre Hopkins, one of the most physical receivers in the league, versus those corners. I mean, week 1, I think Hopkins had 7 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown on AJ Boye. Pretty much on AJ Boye. And not to mention AJ Boye had 4 pass interference / holding calls on him. So week 1, Hopkins got the best of Boye, and maybe some of the same can happen because in the past Boye has been known as a corner that gets a lot of holding calls, that is overuse of his hands, if that makes sense. So it's going to be a dogfight with DeAndre Hopkins versus Jalen Ramsey and AJ Boye, which I do think next season is going to be the start of a rivalry. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins and Jalen Ramsey kind of already started their own little rivalry, and I feel like next season when Deshaun Watson's back, when the Texans are healthy, it's going to escalate into a real rivalry. There's no real rivalry in the AFC South right now, like a real legitimate one. And with the Jaguars finally coming to their own, finally being legit, and the Texans finally finding that franchise quarterback, the AFC South might finally have a rivalry, and that's going to be Houston versus Jacksonville. Because I do think Tennessee is third best team in the division, and the culture the worst, so I don't think they're really going to have much say in the division in the future. It's pretty much all Houston and Jacksonville. And when we move over to, our defense versus their offense, week 1, I just feel like our run defense wasn't ready for Leonard Fournette's physical style of running. Our run defense has been better ever since then. But our run defense did take a step back when Brendan Scarlett got hurt because there was no one to set the edge. But when Brian Cushing came back, things got a little bit better against the Niners. So I feel like this time around, they will be ready for Leonard Fournette. So I don't think Leonard Fournette is going to be able to do much early on, and I'll get to that later. Pass-wise, I mean, the Texans can't get much pressure. It's just Davion Clowney out there. It's just Davion Clowney pretty much getting all the pressure. And, I mean, Blaine Gabbert tore up this defense. Jimmy Garoppolo tore up this defense. And Blake Bortles is probably going to tear up this defense. This secondary is not good right now. Maybe it's part because we lack personnel. Maybe it's because certain pass rushers are hurt. Or maybe it's because Vrabel sucks. And I think it's just a mixture of all of them. So I do expect Blake Bortles to have some damage on this secondary, or do some damage on the secondary. So ultimately, I see the Texans having a close game with the Jaguars early on, stopping Leonard Fournette, but that Jaguars defense will put its clamps down on TJ Yates and suffocate this offense, make them keep going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out type of thing. And eventually, this defense is going to tire out, and Leonard Fournette is going to get rolling, and ultimately, the Jaguars are going to win 23-10. So that's right, guys. Unfortunately, I don't think this injured Texans team can perform well against the Jaguars defense, and I don't think this injured and depleted defense can hold down Leonard Fournette all game long. So yeah, those are my predictions on this game. Comment down below your own predictions on this game. I'm pretty sure most of you guys don't want to admit defeat, but I just do not see the Texans pulling off an upset here. So with that being said, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.